Remember back in January when we hinted at exciting news for the Pixel wearables? Well, hold on to your hats because we finally have some super interesting info about the Pixel Watch 3 and potential Pixel Buds Pro 2. But before I dive in any deeper, hit subscribe if you like Pixel and Google focused content like this, and then leave a comment down below on your Pixel Watch and Pixel Buds Pro 2 thoughts. We're building the biggest community and the best community for Android and Google fans, and we have a ton more content like this in the pipeline, so stick around for more content like this. We all know that one of the biggest complaints facing the current gen Pixel Watch and the first generation, in fact, was its size. Google stuck with the 41mm option for the past couple of years, and that means while they are fairly fine wearables, we're using a 2016 design. They're not absolutely for everyone out there, especially if you do have bigger wrists, and that has been one of the biggest complaints we've heard time and time again. Well, here's the good news. Google has listened to our complaints and the Pixel Watch 3 is going to come in brand new 45mm and 41mm options, and that means the bigger model will offer a significant increase in screen real estate and a more comfortable fit for larger wrists out there. This puts it on par with the likes of the Apple Watch Series 9 and the Galaxy Watch 6 Classic, and hopefully will make this next generation a true competitor in the smartwatch space. A space that is actually getting harder to break into and even stay involved within. Just ask Fossil about that. There's other good news as that if you do prefer that smaller watch, Google is going to offer that familiar 41mm size for those who like a smaller, sleeker profile. Heck, I must admit I don't actually mind that smaller size myself, and it has been my preferred option for lots of other wearables across the entire space. Now, with two sizes available, I do actually personally wonder if Google is going to adopt that Samsung approach with the Galaxy Watch series. Could we potentially see more functionality on that bigger 45mm option, or is there going to be a slight hardware change beyond the size increase to account for that? At this point, we just don't know. One obvious alteration you're probably thinking of is that we will likely see a larger battery on this larger model, and it stands to reason that with that larger form factor, you'll have more room inside for a bigger battery. One of the biggest complaints, apart from the sizes that we saw on the first gen and even to a lesser extent the second gen Pixel Watch, has been the battery longevity. It is better on that newer model thanks to the power efficiency, but it hasn't been necessarily a core focus on this next generation, and we do hope that the upcoming watches will improve upon that with better power efficiency. And of course, we would like to see some reduced bezel sizes as well. That's another massive controversial point, as they're pretty substantial on the Pixel Watch, and while Google does handle these bezels probably better than any other wearable out there, it's still not a good look given Samsung, Apple, Xiaomi and even other manufacturers are almost constantly shrinking down their own display edges on wearables. It might be a limitation though of the pebble-like shape that's been used, but surely it could be addressed within this next generation, and it's something we do hope Google definitely focuses on. I'm not averse to the actual watch itself being a different shape to account for that. Maybe Google could even use a square-like shape like the Apple Watch, which I think is probably seen as the gold standard smart wearable out there. Durability isn't always great on the Pixel Watch as a result of that shape, especially as the corners are covered with glass, and that's somewhere I'd like to see some changes personally, as I must admit my first gen Pixel Watch is definitely getting a bit battered and bruised after a couple of years of usage. Maybe a flatter screen could help with that, and that's something that Samsung has done with their own Galaxy Watch series. There's also the potential chipset question marks over the Pixel Watch 3. Sadly, we don't have any information on that from our sources, but it is likely to be the Snapdragon W5 again, at least if we look into the info, as Qualcomm hasn't actually announced a new processor and there's no indication of a Tensor chip, at least at this stage, although we're not ruling that out entirely. So we must admit it could be fairly similar to the current gen Pixel Watch, at least in terms of raw power and internals. It's far from perfect in its own way, this current gen, but it does manage just fine as is. And if we're getting a slight hardware refresh, a new size, that might probably be okay for many of you, but it does mimic that jump from the Galaxy Watch to the Watch 4 that we saw a few years ago, which was practically identical internally, save a few changes to the health tracking components, something that wouldn't hurt the Pixel Watch if we gain more functions here or advancements, especially with Gemini potentially being able to help out with extra health data analysis. What could change drastically though is the OS running on the Pixel Watch 3. Evidence of this has been around since around about late January, and yes, it's still coming, and it's bringing a brand new hybrid interface designed to significantly boost battery life, one of our original and big complaints. This is potentially going to be great news for anyone that wants to wear their smartwatch all day without worrying about running out of juice, although many people out there are claiming they're getting multiple days. I must admit, personally, to me, a bigger battery is not going to hurt, and that's probably where Google should be aiming a lot of their R&D investment. So that's the Pixel Watch 3, but we have some more for you, as our sources have confirmed that, as you kind of would have expected, Google is also working on their next generation of popular Pixel Buds Pro, tentatively named the Pixel Buds Pro 2, another thing you probably would have expected. We don't have all of the details yet, but we do know that they've been in development for a while and are sure to pack some exciting new functionality. I think the Pixel Buds Pro, as they stand, are fine. The design is nice enough, but the voice and touch controls, they're excellent. They're some of the best in the industry, but the overall sound quality is, well, a bit on the poor side, at least to my ears, especially when you compare these to newer earbuds like the Nothing Ear 2, which I do actually believe are the best overall package for Android users in terms of sound profile and all of the extra functions built in, including battery life, and I do like the design as well. ANC is another area I'd like Google to improve the Pixel Buds Pro 2, as there are lots of brands offering vastly improved noise cancelling on their earbuds. Another strong example with good ANC is the OnePlus Buds Pro 2, and another option that you might look at instead of the Pixel Buds Pro. One of the major strengths though of the Pixel Buds Pro is that they've just been supported really well by Google in their lifespan since being released in July 2022. Last fall we actually saw a pretty sizable feature drop for the Pixel Buds Pro with conversation detection, hearing wellness options, Bluetooth super wideband, reduced gaming latency with the Pixel 8 series, and clear calling was also thrown in there for good measure. That's not even including the Pixel Buds web app, assistant quick phrases, and 2 new colours for you to choose from, Bay and Porcelain, which were launched alongside the Pixel 8 and the Pixel Fold. Of course, all of this is a really good sign that Google is paying attention to its audio products, such as the Pixel Buds Pro, but with just a little more input, I think the Pixel Buds Pro 2 could be even better. And whether that means more AI-powered functionality, that does remain to be seen, but Gemini will no doubt bleed into more Google products for better or worse. But if it does lead to more personalized products, especially with things like audio tuning and all that kind of thing, then I think it's really hard to argue with. But overall, that's all we know at this stage about the Pixel Watch 3 and the Pixel Buds Pro 2. Not as much as we'd like, but still pretty valuable information all the same. I want to ask you though, what are you hoping for with either of these upcoming products? Let me know down in the comments sections below, and yeah, until next time, this is Damien saying thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.